Good afternoon. At PayPal, we've been able to move 15% of our infrastructure fleet into the Google Cloud. And we're just getting started. Today, I want to walk you through the journey that we've been on. But before I do that, I want to tell you a bit about PayPal. Most of you know us, but we are a group of companies, PayPal Core, Venmo, Braintree, Zoom, and most recently, iZettle. Together, what we're attempting to do is to make sure that we can connect the world with payments. We are a two-sided network. On the one hand, we have more than 200 million consumers, and on the other hand, we have about 18 million merchants, and for a total of 237 million active users. Last year, we did about $456 billion in payments. And our mission, on the one hand, is to power digital and mobile commerce, and on the other hand, to democratize financial services around the world. Let me walk you quickly through the technology stack we have at the company. At the bottommost is our infrastructure layer, what we do internally in terms of building our data centers, our network, our hardware engineering teams, our storage, databases, and ops teams. On top of that, we have a layer of technology services that we use internally within the company to help subsidize software development across PayPal, but at the same time create some level of homogeneity and standardization as we build applications and services. Up from there is the payments operating system. This includes identity, payments, risk, compliance, and credit. And finally, the heart of PayPal, which is the experiences. And these experiences are the ones for merchants on the one hand, and for consumers on the other side. The most important thing we do at PayPal is, of course, security. This is the number one thing. We are in the business of trust, and security is the number one thing that we need to build for. To give you an idea of the scale, as I mentioned, we did $456 billion in payments last year. We operate in about 200 different markets, about 100 currencies. And last year, the peak day was about 29 million payments on a single day. This translates to about $14,450 per second on average. Just imagine the peaks. To power all of this, we have 2,700 different application services, which are built and maintained by about 4,500 engineers across the world. Last year, in 2017, we did 17,000 software releases. Our internal infrastructure is about 200,000 servers, about 27 megawatts, and we have 238 petabytes of data, all growing at about 30% year over year. The cloud opportunity for us to begin with was all about the developer and test environments. In 2015, we made the decision that we want to move to the public cloud and start to leverage what was now a 10-year-old industry. In doing so, we wanted to first learn from pilots, and we picked the developer and test environment as our first pilot. The reasons that we moved to the public cloud for are as follows. Number one is scale. As I mentioned to you, the number of transactions we take across the number of countries we have and the number of customers that we serve is very large. And the number of payments at PayPal is growing at about 25% every single year. Second, we wanted to make sure that we were accessible and present for our customers in their locale, in their geography and region. For this, we couldn't go and build data centers all over the place. We needed a partner that could do this with us. Second was flexibility. We are a payments business, and we are available everywhere around the world. And with mobile commerce, there is huge variations in the amount of payments that you get at any point in time of the day, or any day of the week, or any week of the year. To work with this, we needed a flexible infrastructure that could scale up and down to our demands and our needs. Third was the fact that we had to meet regulatory obligations. We are in 200 different markets. Each one of these markets is a jurisdiction. These jurisdictions have laws on money, and we need to be compliant with all of those. In some cases, we need to process and store data locally across various countries in the world. And finally, in terms of efficiency, one, to understand what kind of a fleet we have. Number two, to continuously optimize how much we are using. And number three, to ensure that we burst up when we need something and we don't have hardware on premises that is not going to get used for a long time. To give you an example, our peak days for payments are in December. Once we capacitize for those payments, we don't need that capacity till later in the first quarter of the year. With a public cloud, we have the ability to flex up and down. And finally, the rate of innovation. Public cloud gave us the ability for us to get started on the modernization journey and to ensure that we're using the latest and greatest feature set that is available to make sure that our services are of the highest reliability, the highest security, and are providing the latencies that our customers need around the world. The reason, this is what I start with, was it was important that as we went into the transformation, we had to convince all the people internally within the company on the reason why we are doing this. And this is the main reason why we moved to the public cloud. So our journey, like I mentioned, started in 2015 with Discovery. And through 2016, we picked 4 cloud environments and ran a bunch of pilots to actually compare them side by side. At the end of that test, we picked the Google Cloud to host our applications in. We then started our journey in the beginning of 2017. January of 2017 is when we started the project to take all of the dev and test environment and move it into the Google Cloud. Through that journey in 6 months, we had an amazing partner with Google, and we learned iteratively through every sprint we went through. And on June 28th of 2017, we cut over dev and test over a weekend to the Google Cloud. This was about 15% of our infrastructure fleet. Now, when we did this cutover, it was not all rainbows and unicorns. We had some challenges, and I want to share that with you as well. And those challenges, number one, were with respect to security. As a company that is focused on trust, our biggest need was to make sure that we were as secure as we were on-prem. In doing so, one, we wanted to ensure through tests that we had the risk mitigation and the controls required in the Google Cloud Platform. And with the partnership with Google, we got comfortable with this and started to move in that direction. Second and most important thing was culture. In any transformation, there are 3 pillars. There is a change in mindset, a change in the tool set, and the change in skill set. Most people start with the tool set. In this case, the Google Cloud was a tool set. But if you don't change how you work every day and how you think of your application services and infrastructure, those tools will not help you in the long term. Third was architecture. Lift and shift was not going to work. We had to change our applications to make sure that they were ready for the public cloud. So we went through a process of ensuring that as we were making this migration, we were using the best of what the public cloud had to offer and not rely only on the paradigms that we had built on in the past. We also had a few challenges with the features. Even though public cloud is a 10-year-old industry, Google was still building many of the features. But through the partnership, we worked on various bridge technologies to help with our journey, and that wait was well worth it. And since then, Google has built those features for us, and we've incorporated that into our system. So taking you back to the journey, I mentioned how in the mid of 2017, we moved the dev and test environment into the public cloud, and with that, 15%. And since then, we've had a ton of new learnings. We've now run this environment for a whole year. And in doing so, we have now qualified many other use cases that we can start to move to production. As we begin the build out of the production zones, we now have an intake process for the use cases. We are allowing for the development teams across the company to bring in the use cases that they want to migrate, qualifying those use cases both from a security perspective, a technical reliability perspective, and also from an efficiency perspective. And we intend, in the next year, to take a reasonable amount of our web and mid-tier and move that to the Google Cloud as well. In doing all this, we've had amazing learnings. And Google Cloud has been a tremendous partner. We have challenged each other, and I think we have learned from each other in this process. But we feel like the journey is just getting started, and we are continuing to make progress towards putting more workloads in the Google Cloud. Thank you.